What's gaming, gamers? Today we're going to be adding in a bunch of weapons into my roguelike because, to be honest with you, the government, they're coming for my guns. I need to make more guns. So many guns that the government can't take them all. Sorry about that. I got a little excited there. But anyways, we're going to be adding in weapons. So first we're going to start with the shotgun. So the shotgun is a low range, high damage, low fire rate weapon, and it's actually pretty dang good for mining and pretty good for defending yourself. But it's going to be pretty weak against the bosses because, well, I mean, they're bosses. Everything's weak against the bosses. They're scary and they're big, and this guy is scary and I don't like him. Also, it's pretty difficult to get yourself caught between like a rock and a hard place while you're reloading. So you really got to watch out for that. But overall, the shotgun, pretty based and poggers and red-pilled and what? I don't... Let's just move on. Alright, the squid gun, this one's really cool. It's obviously inspired by the greatest movie ever, Despicable Me 4. I mean, the first one, dang it. This one does not deal a lot of damage to blocks, because, to be honest, if you've ever thrown a squid against a rock, first of all, that's just mean, but second of all, the rock's fine, like, it's a squid, but the squids deal a lot of damage to enemies. I don't really know why, maybe they're allergic to seafood or something, but the squid gun, pretty cool. It's also got a high fire rate and like a really long range. I forgot to mention that because I forget everything all the time and every day is a constant battle, and also the government is coming for me. Alright, next is the robot arm. There aren't any robots in the game yet, so I don't know why a robot arm exists, but it's really cool because you can only fire in 4 directions: up, down, left, right. And to compensate for that, it obviously has really good stats, so great range, great fire rate, great damage, all that jazz. And so with the robot arm, you've got to be really careful with your positioning because obviously, you know, it's harder to aim, so you gotta run around a lot more. And so I think the robot arm is going to be really interesting, add some really interesting gameplay. But next is the magic wand, which is really out of place, especially considering, you know, this is a sci-fi space game. Why is there magic wand in the sci-fi space game? Well, I don't know, but this magic wand, anyways, it cannot crit, so no critical hits, but it has really good range, really good fire rate, and it's kind of low on the damage side, but it's still pretty cool. It's a pretty solid weapon. Maybe a little on the weaker side. I might need to buff it a little bit, but it's okay for now, okay? I'll fix it, okay? Just get off my back. I'll fix it, man, okay? I swear. Okay, well, next is the rifle, actually, and the rifle is really cool because since it deals 50 damage, you can actually just dig down to the stone, which takes exactly 50 damage to break. So you can just start mining out stone immediately, which is really, really cool. And so that's why I think the rifle is really, again, poggers and based and red-pilled and anti-woke and all of the cool stuff. So anyways, after I added in some guns, I needed to add in some really, really cool upgrades because obviously upgrades are what makes a roguelike. We don't need any of that interesting level generation or fun enemies to fight. We just want to put some funny upgrades together and make some broken builds. And yeah, so I added in, I think, about 15. And so first we have the contact juggling ball, and this you balance on your head and it actually applies slowness to all enemies, and so it's just really cool. And then next we actually have the juggling ball cannon. Now you may be sensing a theme here, and that's because most of the upgrades actually synergize with one of the 4 stats you can get. So these two, actually, the juggling ones, actually synergize with dexterity, and obviously, yeah, juggling is related to dexterity. I guess I didn't really need to point that out to you, but I'm just afraid that you're not going to understand, and you're going to click off the video, you're not going to like and or subscribe, and wishlist my game, Comment Rogue, this one on Steam. Next, we have the floating machine gun, which is really cool. It synergizes with strength, so the more strength you have, the faster it fires, and it just aims at the nearest enemy and shoots at them automatically, kind of like Vampire Survivors type deal, which is really fun. And then we have the funniest name, the gold mine, and this makes it so that when you mine an ore, it explodes and kills you if you're too close anyway. So back up, okay? Do yourself a favor, if you have the gold mine, back away from ores, and then, yeah, And lastly, I added the tinfoil hat because the government, they could read my mind and they're coming for me. Alright, so you're seeing all this footage of the camera actually following the player, which is really cool. Okay, that's really, really cool. But the game actually used to look like this. And as you can see, it's way different. If you move down and you move back up, the camera actually doesn't follow you back up. I thought this would make some interesting gameplay, simply because, you know, like, you have to decide, okay, do I want to go down a few extra blocks and get in a worse position, but, you know, maybe you go down a couple blocks to get a bunch of money or something. And also, I just wanted it to not be able to scroll left and right, so that way it's kind of a tighter experience. Blah, blah, blah. I can't speak. I'm speaking. I am speaking. Sorry, I just wanted to not scroll left and right, so it's like a tighter experience, and so that way, you know, it's like, in theory, more difficult, because when the enemies spawn, they're more likely to kind of spawn, like, really close to you and stuff, right? But what I did is I just made the level a little bit lighter, I just made the camera lock onto you, and that really makes it feel a lot more like you're exploring a world, even if it's a little bit wider. It just feels much more open, more freeing. And so I think it's just way better. And to kind of help with the feeling of you kind of like exploring a world, I added in an extremely simple lighting system. Basically, it's just a sprite with a transparent circle in the background, and the farther down you go, the higher the opacity, the more opaque the sprite becomes, so that way it looks like you're going down into a dark cave. I did this for performance reasons, but also I'm kind of freaking stupid, and I can't figure out Godot's lighting properly. Like, it's... I don't want to get into it, but it's super annoying. So this actually looks really good. I'm really proud of it. But next, I actually added in these little pets you can unlock. And we'll get to the unlocking system in a minute here. But the pets, all they do is they just follow you around, and they pick up coins and health and whatever else may drop. And I added in like 15 pets. I added in like my pet fish, and a pet rock, and a dove, and this creature, and also like some other random stuff. And the last thing you unlock is actually a pet called the gold fish. Isn't that funny, guys? Because he's like a fish, but he's like gold. Sorry, but next is the unlock system, which we just mentioned. And basically all it does is when you collect coins, those coins get put towards you unlocking stuff, and then when you die, it shows you, hey, this is how far you've gotten to unlocking this next thing. But there were so many bugs with it. It sounds so simple, but there were so many bugs, and most of the bugs had to deal with you not collecting any coins in a run. Right, so if you collect 0 coins, then some really weird stuff starts happening, like it displays that you have negative coins total, or like it just won't let you proceed, and like so many weird things. And I tried to fix it for days and days, and then finally I had a genius idea. I just made it so that you cannot get 0 coins. If you get 0 coins, I just gave you a free coin. That way, none of those bugs happen. So it's really stupid, but it works beautifully. But speaking of bugs, there's actually another really funny bug where if you walk over this barrel, you get teleported on top of these blocks. And I have no idea why. I thought maybe I did, and I tried recreating it, but it's just not happening. So that actually happened while I was recording footage for the trailer for the game, the new trailer. Since I added in a bunch of items and some weapons and the pets, you know, all the stuff we went over, I updated the Steam page trailer, and yeah, I updated the Steam page as well. It looks a little nicer. We have these little block borders, which I think look cool. So if you want to check out the game, it's called Comet Rogue. You can search for it on Steam, or you can click the link in the description and just watch the trailer on the Steam page and wishlist it, please. I am poor, please. And you can also join my Discord server. And also, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it.
A single woman has given birth to a child. At least they didn't give birth to Freddy Fazbear, because if you give birth to Freddy Fazbear, he comes out and he says, or, and then he kills Michael Afton, or he tries to do it, along with his friends, Bunny the Bunny, Tiki the Kitchen, Foxy the Fox Pirate Guard, and Yellow Freddy, who's yellow and weird.
But it's not their fault.